made my first night dive on a reef I'd seen several times, but it was like the first time all over again.
And I swam right up to the fish.
It seemed my light was a brush painting colors you don't see during the day.
We had a blast, and it sure improved some of our dive skills, like navigating.
You just don't see them during the day. We were so
Night
close.
diving's an adventure.
You see aquatic life you just don't see during the day.
The colors at night, unbelievable.
Can you imagine seeing by moonlight underwater?
It's great for underwater photography.
Mainly, it's fun.
And it's fun.
It makes night diving fun.
You've got to try it.
Night diving. Whether it's to see aquatic life, to make one more dive at the end of the day, for a bit of adventure, or to take underwater pictures. For every diver, there's a reason to dive at night. Night diving is simply a matter of applying the techniques you've learned diving during the day to diving after dark. It's one of the easiest and most rewarding specialties to learn. You may even have some night diving experience already, but if you've never been night diving, you might imagine it's not much more than groping around in the dark. Actually, there's more light than you might expect, and you can see a lot. You can learn about night diving equipment and skills in the Advanced Open Water or Night Diver programs. These courses teach you to get the most out of night diving, supervised by a PADI instructor. In these programs, you learn about night diving equipment and night techniques, including planning night dives, entries, interacting with your buddy and the environment, navigation, special situations, and exits. Being familiar with these makes night diving safe, relaxing, and fun. As a certified diver, chances are you already have most of the equipment you need for night diving. You only need to add a few items, such as lights. Night diving's more relaxing when you're used to your equipment, so it's best to try out new equipment during the day, before taking it night diving. Also, it's easiest to work your equipment by touch at night, so set up everything where you can find it just by reaching. You can night dive with the same gauges you use during the day, but if you're in the market for new ones, you can read lit or glow-in-the-dark models a bit easier at night. This is especially helpful with your compass, which you'll use a lot at night. You probably already carry a whistle, and it's just as important for night diving when you might be harder to see. And you may want to carry visual attention-getting devices, like emergency reflectors or a strobe light. You'll probably use your slate more at night too. A slate makes it easy to jot notes to your buddy. Plus, you can write down compass headings for navigating. Obviously, for night diving, you need a dive light. What some divers don't realize, though, is that it's a good idea to have more than one. Each diver carries a primary light and a backup light in case you have a problem with your primary. Carry backup lights clipped to your BCD or in the pocket. When selecting a dive light, look for rugged lights with dependable switches. Broad-beamed, larger lights make good primary lights because they light a wide area. Backup lights can be smaller and less bulky for carrying convenience. Wrist lanyards help prevent loss and free your hands. Dive lights use either disposable or rechargeable batteries. Disposable battery models cost less to buy initially, but rechargeable models cost less to use if you night dive often. If you travel and choose a rechargeable, check that it works with the electrical system where you're going. In either case, be sure you understand how to take care of your dive lights. Inspect and lubricate O-rings before each use, and rinse them in fresh water after each dive. Cleaning the electrical contacts regularly will make your lights more reliable too. Always follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Your PADI Dive Center can help you choose suitable dive lights and explain how to care for them. Besides your dive lights, some other lights make night diving easier. Chemical light sticks mark your location, even without a dive light. Some divers carry two. The second is used if they want to signal for some extra assistance. Chemical light sticks are also good for marking lines and the safety stop. Light sticks on surface floats help alert boaters. They also make it easier for you and your buddy to find the float. Underwater strobe beacons can be seen a long way in clear water, and they make it easier to find the boat at the end of the dive. Flashing or colored lights help you spot your exit point when you're night diving from shore. Now let's look at night diving techniques, beginning with dive planning. The best way to start is to choose an interesting dive site that you've dived during the day, and it helps to pick a site where you've seen a lot of underwater life. When you get to the site, it's easiest to evaluate the conditions if you arrive before it gets completely dark. However, you can usually evaluate conditions at a familiar site after dark by moonlight and with your dive lights. For the most fun and a relaxing dive, choose a dive site with good conditions. Strong surf, currents, or surge make the dive more tiring, so try to avoid these on night dives. Give thick kelp, fishing nets, branches, and the like a wide berth to help avoid entanglement. If you encounter bad visibility, you won't see as much and navigation will be harder, so you may want to postpone the dive until conditions are better. As in any dive situation, you'll have the most fun diving in conditions well within your training and physical ability. If you don't have a well-lit area to work in, setting up your equipment before dark may be easiest. Night diving's more fun with a familiar buddy. Especially on your first few night dives, try to go with someone who you've been diving with during the day. That way, you're familiar with each other's abilities and equipment. Besides a buddy, it's good to have someone along to watch the boat or to tend shore lights. He can also help during entries and exits. One reason night diving from charter dive boats is so popular is that there's usually someone aboard just to do this. After completing your pre-dive safety check, which should include checking your lights, you're ready. Enter as you would during the day, but check the area with your light before you enter. Keep your light on during the entry so you can find it if you drop it. Lower in accessory equipment and retrieve it after you enter. This is an easy way to avoid accidentally losing it. If you're shore diving, watch out for waves or soft mud bottoms. Stay within reach of your buddy during the entry. When you have to swim to the site before you descend, you may be able to see better by turning off or covering your lights. Before you descend, note the compass bearing to your exit. You'll use this as you navigate during and at the end of the dive. Permanent shore lights, such as street lights, are good landmarks too for when you surface. Descents at night are easiest along a reference line from a buoy or the boat's anchor line. Follow the line with one hand and use the other for your BCD and to equalize. Feet first descents help you stay oriented. Point your light ahead of you so you can see and check your gauges periodically. It's harder to judge depth at night, so keep a close eye on your depth. As you reach the bottom, take a moment to adjust to the surroundings and establish neutral buoyancy. Stay closer to your buddy than you would during the day, so if you need his attention, you can touch him gently without startling him. Signal by shining your light on hand signals at waist level or to the side. This keeps the light out of your buddy's eyes. If he's out of reach, rap on your tank or wave your light rapidly. If he's too far to see your hand signals, this means OK. When your light's pointed in your buddy's direction, keep your light aimed at leg level. Just as you're courteous to your buddy, be courteous to the organisms you encounter. Try to avoid bumping into them, which can injure or damage them. This also helps you avoid accidental scrapes and stings. Still, even in tropical waters, wear an exposure suit and gloves. Besides protecting you from accidental scrapes, an exposure suit makes your night dives more comfortable. You'll probably find that aquatic creatures behave or look different at night. This is one reason night diving's unique. It's easier to approach fish and other creatures that are shy. Look closely. You may be surprised at what you find. For example, even sandy areas that seem unoccupied during the day may teem with life at night. It's harder to see natural navigation features a long way off at night, so check your compass frequently. The sun may have set, but in clear water, a bright moon may help you navigate almost as well. In fact, you can often see surprisingly well underwater without the aid of a light. Navigation's easiest if you keep track of where you are. It often helps to use the compass heading you took before descending as a reference underwater. Natural features like water movement, sand ripples, depth, and rock or reef formations may also help. Diving in a familiar area and staying close to the boat or shore will help you stay oriented. In clear water, without currents, an easy way to navigate is to swim in a circle within sight of the boat's lights. When you have lower visibility or a slight current, it may be best to explore along a single heading out and then return on the reciprocal heading. Or follow the reef contour out and back. The right techniques help make night diving safe and fun, but there are some special situations that you won't encounter diving during the day. All are easy to handle by keeping a couple of points in mind. To begin, some people may experience stress during a night dive because they expect night diving to be difficult, or they may imagine non-existent hazards. Other sources of stress, such as having to deal with poor conditions or unfamiliar equipment, are eliminated by following the recommendations and techniques you've already seen. And night diving training and experience develop self-confidence and prepare you to handle problems. This helps you relax and have more fun. If a problem occurs while night diving, stop and think, then act. Light failure during a night dive is really an inconvenience, not a problem. If your light fails, switch to your backup light. If you have only one backup, end the dive so you can exit safely with light. In the unlikely event your backup doesn't work or you lost it, borrow your buddy's and end the dive. If you lose track of your buddy at night, look for the glow of his light. It may help to cover your light and turn a full circle. If you don't find him within a minute, surface carefully and regroup on the surface. Remember that if your light failed by flooding, turning the switch off may help reduce damage to it. It's possible to feel disoriented for a moment when you ascend or descend at night. An easy remedy is to hang on to your reference line or other stationary object to regain your orientation. If there isn't one, make contact with your buddy or even yourself. Watch your bubbles rise. This helps re-establish your sense of up and down. If disorientation doesn't pass, ascend carefully and end the dive. If you lose your direction, use your compass and other natural navigation cues to regain it. Surface if necessary to regain your bearings. When possible, end your dive near the anchor line or other reference. This makes your ascent easier. Stay close to your buddy with your light hand on the line. Ascend slowly, looking up and around. Check your gauges frequently. Use your other hand to vent your BCD so you're neutrally buoyant for your safety stop. After surfacing, you may want to turn off or cover your lights so your eyes adjust to the dark before you exit. If you have to ascend without a light, make contact with your buddy so you can see by his light. Ascend slowly with one hand overhead to vent your BCD and for protection if something's above you. You may be able to use a chemical light stick to read your gauges during the ascent. Exiting into a boat at night differs little from doing it during the day. But if someone helps you aboard, be careful not to shine your light in his eyes. If you surface away from the boat, signal that you're okay. An easy way to find a shore exit point is to put two distinct shore lights in line with your exit before the dive. Colored lights work well, but don't use lights that boaters could confuse with marine navigation signals. Put the rear light higher than the front light. At the end of the dive, swim until the lights are aligned. Then swim shoreward, keeping them aligned. During shore exits where there's surf, look behind you frequently for waves until you're completely ashore. Once you have the right equipment and techniques, sunset doesn't end your diving for the day. Instead, it's a good reason to make another dive. Let's look back at the main points for safe and fun night diving. Night diving equipment makes night diving more relaxing and safe. This includes a primary light, a backup light, a chemical light stick, a compass, a slate, and surface signal devices. And use equipment you're familiar with. When planning night dives, choose a familiar site and evaluate conditions. You'll have a more relaxing dive if you avoid strong surf, currents, surge, and possible sources of entanglement. Bad visibility may be reason to postpone the dive. Remember that during night diving entries, to turn your light on in case you drop it. And whenever possible, descend along a reference line. When interacting with your buddy and the environment, be careful to avoid injuring aquatic organisms. Likewise, be courteous to your buddy and watch where you aim your dive light. Much aquatic life behaves differently, so look closely. It's half the fun of making a night dive. Underwater navigation at night keeps track of your location. Use your compass. And natural features, such as water movement, to maintain your orientation throughout the dive. Training and experience help you react properly to special situations. Stop, think, and then act if you have a problem. During night diving exits, always ascend slowly, looking up and around with your hand overhead. When you reach the surface, allow your eyes to adjust to the dark before swimming to the boat or shore. Whether you're new to night diving or have been doing it for years, these guidelines help make every night dive exciting and satisfying. You'll end each dive with a sense of accomplishment and with anticipation for your next night dive.